Helmy, Fritz, Mayor,
Yes.
Eustace, Rice, Winfrey, Freitag, and Frizzalone. We also have Mr. Brooks.
All right, let's start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't see the agenda. It's on it. Says capital N, joint. All right, we don't have any minutes. There's no old business. We go right to new business discussion.
Microphone.
What?
Your mic's not on.
Can you hear me? Oh. So we have no old business. We go right to new business, which is the discussion of the record management system. Come on down.
Just so you know.
Okay, so the handout there will basically cover what I'm going to go over today. As quickly as possible, stop me for questions if you have any. To begin with, I just want to give a quick overview of what we do at records management. Basically, two primary parts, printing and records management. So under the print section, we cover the copying throughout the county. Most of the multifunction machines are handled through my department. Production, printing, and finishing, graphic design, and digitization. Records management covers physical records management, electronic records management, scanning and digitization, records disposal, and facilitate the disposal process for many of the departments, as well as the actual shredding and documentation of the process. We have record storage, and we also have long-term archiving. Currently, the system that we use that covers only one scan is a document management system known as ViewWise. So it allows basic indexing and accessing of stored images. So resolutions, AP, things like that. Currently, there are 90 users of ViewWise, the system. Currently, ViewWise is used by 24 of the county's departments, and our physical record storage is used by 27 of the departments. The system that we're looking at trying to implement will cover all aspects of this operation, as well as helping facilitate part of the printing as well. The drivers for this are currently just the need for efficiency, a need for savings, and a need to comply with state regulations and best practices in general for records management. Recently, within the past decade, the definition of what a record has changed substantially. On this second page, it is printed out. I'm not going to go through the entire definition. I just want to call your attention to what's highlighted. Specifically, in reference to what a record is, it's what a department makes, produces, executes, or receives throughout the year. It is evidence of the organization's function, policies, decisions, procedures, and activities thereof. So in other words, pretty much now falls under the records category. That's data, images, correspondence, most of it fits under there. And as we look at specifically targeted solutions in departments, say court management, business processes, workflows, that kind of stuff, you know, they're fantastic, but they're not capturing everything. This records management system is being purchased primarily to help us do that, to really get us started on getting a handle on what a record is considered valid. So what we're looking at is something that first is in compliance with the JCAR rules of administration, so we meet state requirements. We're looking for something that's compatible with GARP best practices, which is generally agreed upon records practices. And third, something that's DOD 50115 version 3 compliant, which meets federal standards for how workflows, records, data, et cetera, should be handled. So those are sort of the overarching goals. In terms of the complete specifics of the system itself, on the second page you'll see a list of goals that we've set forth for any system we purchase. I've spent 3.5 years reviewing over 12 systems, and we've narrowed it down to one system we think would meet our requirements out of the box. The big trick is doing that. Lots of companies will want to sell you a portion of it and then contract out the rest, or send you out to find something else, or want to have you spend extra money for buying multiple modules. So we've found a company that out of the box provides the broadest spectrum of what we're going to need. And I know you guys have been in the meeting for a long time, so I'll go through this briefly. You can stop me at any point with questions. But primarily what we're looking for is a system that will handle the physical records management, which includes chain of custody and changing disposition of records, so that we can show what's on hold, why it's on hold, what's been destroyed, why it's been destroyed, etc. We're looking for a system that allows us out-of-the-box space management. All right, we've got 10 to 15,000 boxes out of records management. This will actually allow us to tell you how much space is available, where something's at. Implications of this extend beyond us to the point that if you need us to, we can help other departments facilitate records management best practices as well. Third on the list is electronic records management. This would, it's beyond just document management. It's streamlining your processes down to the point that we'll be able to enter workflows into this system and have it monitor them, and you therefore monitor the work through those systems. Instead of just simple scanning, which is what we have now, we would be able to start integrating intelligent capture, so that you can teach the system to recognize the beginning of a batch. Say, it would be able to tell where one record ends and where the next one begins. The largest portion for me will be records retention management. This is for the physical records, whether on our site or off-site, whether in our given system or in someone else's system. This will actually allow us to, for us to interact with other systems that are holding records and apply retention rates to that material and document the process. It'll allow us to increase our security down to the granular level, controlling who can see what, who can do what with the specific data, down to the point of allowing us to redact information within the system. You may see an unredacted document. The person beside you may only be able to see a redacted document, or they may only have access to specific information out of a given document, like a dollar amount or a resolution number or something like that. The systems that I've gone through, we look for something that would allow us to create simple workflows, approval processes, etc., on our own without paying another company to do that. This system does that. One of the other things is to allow us a dashboard approach to business. In other words, ideally, we'd like to be able to provide a single interface for the business processes, so that you're not looking in one set of software application for this particular type of record, looking over here for your workflow process, over here for your mail. This will allow us to begin the process of streamlining that, this four-department system requested. And the last of the goals is just to start meeting federal, state, and laws, and also best practices. This system, like you said, meets the needs out of the box, but it also has a couple other attributes that are well worth mentioning, and that is that the seats that we purchase are cross-platform compatible. So you buy a seat, you can use it on your laptop, you can use it on your desktop, your phone, or your tablet. And in addition, they're providing a good breakdown in terms of seating. It's not one type of seat. We can pay as little as $87 a year for an inquiry user, which is just somebody who needs to access information, which is a big change over what we currently have. And then as much as $465 a seat for knowledge workers, people who are going to actually use it as part of a workflow. So modify information, submit information, etc. The very last page is the cost, which I'm sure you're all very interested in. We currently spend somewhere around $23,000 countywide for maintenance fees for our current system. The new system would be expected to cost somewhere between $330,000 and $350,000 for the system, and probably around $30,000 a year for maintenance. The breakdown is below, but you have to understand this is ballpark estimates, because I am not, or have not been authorized to negotiate on behalf of the county. So this is coming off of a state contract with the state government.
So there's no need for an RFQ
No,
for this?
contract.
This is just straight off the contract? And so your estimate cost versus what you think your costs are, you've already gotten costs from these individuals?
Yeah,
These are
there's,
hard costs?
this is, well, no, I cannot officially negotiate prices at this point. This is below what would be covered by the state contract already, so I haven't even got to really negotiate with them.
And so you're talking about a system that you're going to, when you have 80 seats, are they managing use, so each user has its own different privilege?
Yes, correct.
And who are these 80? I mean, how do they work into this whole system?
Okay, across site was it 24 departments currently use it. Some of them have access to their specific records that are stored in it. Other users may be accessing AP information.
And so by statute, some of the things that we have to keep are hard copies of things.
Correct.
So this system won't necessarily do anything except you're going to catalog
Well,
where
it'll
those things
actually,
are.
it'll let you know that perhaps you have part of your record is electronic and part of it's physical, right? On our end, you'll be able to tell that it's in our warehouse. On our end, we'll be able to tell you not only that it's in our warehouse, but specifically which box, which shelf, and which room.
And will it have a termination date that those records can then be destroyed so that you can, because, what I'm getting to is, will this not only help us electronically improve efficiencies, but it also should help with the physical evidence being able to be reduced? Because that's been one of our challenges over the years.
Was the hardest
Where to put
challenge.
these things.
The hardest challenge for most of the vendors was that they wanted to simply focus on the electronic. For us, it is extremely important that they also be able to do the physical. And it's not just physical records. We intend to use the system for inventory as well. I have over 100 copiers out there being in use in the county. That information will be stored in there as well. So it's not just
And this goes over all departments and elected officials.
Not all, not all. I don't handle the circuit clerk's records. I don't handle their physical records. That's done by them. But anybody else is pretty much, I'll be welcoming them.
Jim?
If I get, speaking to the cost, it looks pretty reasonable to me, actually.
It's extremely reasonable.
I mean, last time, for those of us who are here, last time we had a major upgrade of this nature was quite a bit more than this. I want to say we once bought 800,000.
The starting
by the time
cost
we were done.
of this was over $500,000.
Yeah.
So working through this with them, we've got it down to this point, and I'm hoping to realize some other savings. We've been able to roll into this failover capability, so that the system, if the primary server goes down, the transition to a secondary server should be seamless. So we're starting to fit into what we're asking for, some very sophisticated pieces, and this price is extremely reasonable.
Can I ask you one other question? So I think the price is very reasonable. But I also have a question about compatibility as we integrate, whatever systems we have. I mean, I assume that we're not going to have compatibility issues that you've looked at.
Now, most of the newer systems, I would say that there shouldn't be much problem with. Some of the really old legacy systems, that whoever has those, they will need to cover that cost.
So there could be a need for other equipment or software
Well,
replacement.
it's kind of interesting because, we're talking about interfacing the software with other software, where this could be configured to actually bypass the other software straight to its databases or stores. So in other words, this is the HP solution. They're quite knowledgeable on the international down to the local scale for handling systems. So it will only be like the truly unique systems that we might be challenged with, but the homegrown ones. But there's always a chance of just simply bypassing the system right to the data. So but they would have to agree to that, of course.
That's what I guess I'm getting at. So they would be part of the implementation and integration of the system.
Ideally, yes.
Gretchen?
When did we get the ViewWise system, what year?
It was like 12 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
12 years. But it's kind of, I hate to even refer to it as a system. It's a document management solution, which is primarily, you apply a little bit of indexing and you can use that to look up some images. This is different. This is not purchased for our needs now. This is purchased to take care of things as long as I'm here.
Well,
But I don't want to be around here
that was
much
gonna
more
be
than
my
15 or
next,
20 years.
my next
but-
question is, what is
yeah.
the expected lifespan of this product? I mean, obviously, there's a maintenance contract, so they automatically do
The
updates.
expected lifespan, I would like to see it go at least a decade, but that just depends on how quickly things change. This system is built to be modular to some degree, but it's a functional core of an enterprise management system by one of the top providers in the world. So I think we're definitely in good hands. Does that-
Chuck?
Just real quick, so they're probably doing 2.0 or higher internet capability, so this is all web-based, correct? So people are be able to...
You have a choice. You can just sit at your desktop, you can use your phone, you can use your...
My question is this placed in their server?
No.
We will have a server bank within our system?
Yes.
Okay.
And we have to do that no cloud because it'd be too hard to get buy-in by too many people.
Okay.
So it's spaced, it will be...
And I'm sure in the due diligence, the word came up last, go around for our last meeting. Have you talked to other users to support the fact that these guys are doing what they say they're going to do and they're not gonna break down?
Right now, what we're focused primarily on is number one. Oh, you mean other users of their?
Other users of the references.
I've not spoken to any. We can sit down with the state of Oregon, who's one of their users. They have.
I'm gonna suggest actually talking, because as people take a look at these databases and they're in, you've got a tall order here that if this goes well, it sounds like it's gonna be a really good process for us, but knowing how these guys rolled this out, what the challenges are that they came up with, and where the success rate that they've had, because this is
The
huge.
problem with
Yes.
this, the problem with this is that, in general, counties and municipalities have not done what we're wanting to start here. So, in other words, what they usually do is they buy a solution and it's used for a specific business process, right?
I understand, I mean,
But-
I actually work in this world.
Yeah.
So I totally get it, which is why I'm suggesting
Okay.
that you contact these folks.
Sure.
And you find, because I would like to know how people have rolled this out and what their success, what their problems and issues have been. Because any technology that you buy will cause you issues. Now, some of them are less than others, and especially with the versatility of the kind of management and databases that you're asking. And have you identified all the different archaic databases that we have here in Will County? I'm sure you know what
But,
those
but
guys
the
are.
thing is that's
And how they play.
not what this intended purchase is for right now. Right now, the intended purchase of this product is to take care of records management, replace VUIs, and set us up with the capability to do quite a bit more.
I understand.
So those specific things are not within my scope at this moment, this immediate moment. I'll have my hands full mapping the shift from ViewWise into a new system, and then choosing what specific goals we will take on, because we will be establishing some testing opportunities here with smaller
You gotta
departments.
start small.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I
then we'll
understand that.
expand from there,
But you're
because,
talking about not just being small, but being a pretty global opportunity.
yeah, and what drives this is not a hesitancy on my part, it's an understanding of what happens when you let something like this grow too fast without applying the best practices and the rules.
Which is why that's why I made the suggestion I did.
Okay, so
So that we know how fast we can grow, that they have the capability to help us.
And not only that, that the state can respond in a timely manner to our questions. Because a lot of what determines how these records will be handled is dictated by the state. And we have a lot of unique usages within the county that have to be met. So we used it for nothing more than records management, this process we justified.
All right, well, another question, Rachel?
Yes, so you said this is a state contract, so we don't need to like go to bid or anything. That suggests that other counties in Illinois have done this?
You can with the software like this, you can.
Okay, so, but I'm just saying with the state contract, is the state doing it? I mean, you were saying state of Oregon, I mean, isn't there somebody?
Just means it's on
Is
county.
there any other users?
Right.
Any other users in Illinois?
I'll have to find out. I'm not sure.
I will say that Reagan and I sat through a more complete presentation from Michael, and they've been working on this for 3 years. They've done the research as far as how the product works. We put the money aside already, we've got that budgeted, so other than the questions of getting some references, I personally feel we're ready to go.
I put my business card in there so you can contact me, because a lot of this is highly technical, and if this is, we would be here for hours.
You need any kind of motion?
Yeah, do we need a motion to move forward then?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Execute,
They asked what the motion was for, and I suggested perhaps you fully negotiate and then go full agreement with HP.
And bring it back and
Well,
we'll sit it on the agenda.
Yep, so you do some reference in the meantime.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Next up, we have identification of fund for 2% owner contingency. This is what Dave was waiting for. Did you want to talk now, Dave? Just
Sorry, when I looked at the agenda and I looked at the clock, I thought they have to be on the other. I know, it's been a long morning for everyone already. Thank you. Very briefly, my understanding with respect to this agenda item is that it will establish an owner's contingency for 2% of the guaranteed maximum price to allow for expenditure, of course, with board oversight on items that might not have been identified during the design development process and as we proceed with construction. For example, if a new program came along or a new piece of equipment in the evidence, laboratory or whatever, forensic laboratory, that may need to be accommodated, just one of several examples. And so I would respectfully request that this committee seriously consider this because it is, I believe, important to the job. It's a very typical in the industry, especially with this type of project delivery method, and respectfully ask for your consideration.
Jim.
I just want to clarify for myself. So we already have one contingency, it's whatever it was, 7% or...
That's the contractor's contingency.
That's the contractor's contingency. This contingency would be for add-ons or changes that we might make during the process of building the sheriff's facility, correct? Is that?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Just wanted to clarify.
Any other questions?
I'll move
Move to
establish 2%. Additional It comes out of the bond.
yeah, it's going to come out of the bond process.
Well, it'll have to be in the,
You're creating a new
you're gonna
fund.
hold it.
You're creating
Yeah,
a
we're going to hold it, right? Create a fund.
Can we just make part of the construction?
But then it gets rolled into it, it's not part of our control.
We can make it some sort of line item.
Well, let me ask this, we have to have additional funding for this, right? We may never use it, but.
We hope not.
That's correct. That's correct. And then the contractor's contingency, that is based on shared savings, so.
So if we're identifying the monies, we don't have to, we just put a line item on the construction that we have.
Correct.
Have 2%, we're not going to establish another fund for it.
It's part of the overall project.
Yeah, line item on the
Project.
Okay.
It just rolls into capital.
Right, exactly. So we have a motion to the effect. First, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Dave, don't go away. Under other new business, one other thing we wanted to bring up, based on the work that Farnsworth has been doing on the courthouse, we thought it would be a good idea to get them involved in this project as well on the commissioning side. It would help with maybe some redundancies of even systems, so that as we get to that point where we're looking at warranties and who's going to be working on the systems, we have maybe even some commonality. So, any thoughts on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Jim?
I would say, I think this would be extremely helpful to the capital committee and to David. And it's not only, I'd like to see them get involved sooner than later. We can ask them for a proposal. Because I also like them to review the systems that are going in. Because, they would have knowledge of, say, well, you might want to look at another system there or whatever. Especially when you got this guaranteed pricing. I can guarantee anything, give you some, not the best quality, say. So we want to make sure that, we're, soon they would get involved probably to help advise the committee and Dave I think the better, so they,
Denise?
Yeah, just for my own clarity, Mike. So an example of how you'd see that playing out would be what?
All right, so they're gonna do a little bit of what they're doing on the county courthouse right now. Taking a look at all of the systems, giving us some recommendations, if any. I mean, we may be putting 2 systems in, the 2 buildings, and we may be doing 2 different ones, which would make sense if there was a logic to using the same system or same parameter, same. So it'll kind of help us in that regards too, by having them involved. And then Dave, maybe you could speak to that as well.
well, they would be the,
Help you back.
they would be kind of, they would be the
Commissioning
commissioning
agent,
agent. They would be the commissioning. Even though I think they act a little bit more, they have even on the court project, you know, they act a little bit more than just commissioning agents. They're also advisors to the county. Just, you know, so, would you agree with that, David? I mean, they really help advise you and help guide on certain aspects.
One of the things that I think that is key to not only the new courthouse, but also to the new public safety complex as well, is that we develop a program prior to the completion of construction that really maps out a very precise and definitive maintenance program for all of this new equipment. And I think that is key, and that would be just one of the things that I would look to for Farnsworth to help us with, and also to make sure that when that building is turned over upon substantial completion, that when that new equipment is commissioned, that it is done so properly, that the right people that need to be trained on it are trained, that we have the right type of personnel involved with eyes on that, and that it can be something that we can even video and utilize in the future and so forth for as staff turns over down the road and that. A lot of different things. And I'm not expecting it to be as a full-blown commissioning agent as we have on courthouse, but I think that we're really enough in the project here with the sheriff's department. And we did talk about this with Farnsworth the other day, and asked them what they thought about it. And I think Michael's in the audience today, and he can talk to it, or speak to it a little bit more in depth. But you know, ask them what are the things that would benefit us most, but short of a full-blown involvement.
Yep.
And that's what.
We'll get their proposal.
Yeah.
That we have for the courthouse and just
We
tag
could,
that on.
yeah, we could amend that agreement if you.
Dave, if you want to get a proposal from,
I've asked them for a proposal, so.
okay?
So I expect that, to be able to share that with you upon receipt of it.
Great.
Do you want to get an executive committee?
Yeah, we can move that to executive committee.
So we can't do anything.
Right, we're not making any motion, we're just getting proposals, so, you know, we can do that.
That doesn't mean we can't look at a proposal and put it on the county board agenda. Oh, I understand. Yeah, I understand. I just want to set up for maybe getting it approved for this meeting this month. I know we're in a short month, it don't help, but just place it on there, though, and then we'll
Okay.
discuss it. I mean, if they feel comfortable, then we can move it. If they don't feel comfortable,
It's too late to get it on the executive.
I understand that, but we can discuss it. We can discuss it and still put it on the county board agenda.
Okay.
Okay, that's a week away.
Don?
I have a question for David, I guess. Would we consider moving the air and hydronic balancing under the commissioning agent then like we did at the courthouse? Or would that-
Certainly.
I don't know how the contract is structured. Did they work for the architect? Did they work for the mechanical engineer? I don't know if they work.
Right now, they work for the construction manager. It's a function of the construction manager and his trade contractors, so we could take a closer look at that as well.
I mean, if we're going to do that, then probably it makes some sense to me coming out of that part of the industry, but there might be some cost adjustment or something that's necessary.
Agree with that.
Okay. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
All right, any,
Come back Thursday, Ken. with a
Dave.
proposal. You can come back Thursday with a proposal.
Any other new business? I don't think so. Public comment? Any public comment? No public comment. I don't have any reports. I don't think we get some reports. Motion to adjourn. Move, second. All in favor? Motion carried. And now we go to capital. So we want to take a break? Mary?